Have you ever walked away from a conversation with someone you love thinking, wait, what just happened? You thought you understood, but later you realized, nope. The message got lost somewhere between their lips and your ears. In relationships, whether it's with a spouse, a family member, a friend, or even a business partner, unclear communication is like static on a radio. You think you're tuned in, but the words and the meaning don't always match. Hi, I'm Ellen Gibson, and welcome to It Starts with Clarity. Today, we're talking about how to get to true clarity in relationships, how to move from confusion to connection. I'm going to share 8 practical techniques you can use right away, plus 2 real-life stories, one personal and one professional, that show how clarity can completely change a relationship. When clarity is missing in a relationship, frustration builds. Misunderstandings turn into assumptions. Assumptions turn into resentment. And pretty soon, you're no longer talking to each other. You're talking about each other in your head. But when you have clarity, something shifts. You feel understood, you feel heard, and you can give the other person that same gift. Clarity doesn't just make communication smoother. It makes relationships safer and stronger. I once worked with a couple who had been married for over 20 years. On the surface, they seemed fine. No fighting, a nice home, raising kids together. But underneath, they were disconnected. She longed for verbal affirmation and daily check-ins. He thought he was showing love by keeping the household running, mowing the yard, paying the bills, handling repairs. Both believed they were doing their part, but neither felt truly seen. When they had what I call an expectations conversation, it was like a light bulb turned on. She realized his acts of service were his love language. He realized her need for words and emotional presence wasn't about being demanding. It was about feeling valued. Once they got clarity, they didn't have to love each other more. They just had to love each other in a way the other understood. Technique 1, the expectations conversation. This is one of the most powerful clarity tools you can use. It's about intentionally setting down and saying, here's what I expect in this relationship. What do you expect from me? It's not a blame session, it's an alignment session. And here's my pro tip. Use I statements like, I feel supported when, instead of, you never. That one shift can take the defensiveness out of the conversation and keep it productive. Technique 2, values alignment check. Values are the roots of a relationship. If your roots grow in opposite directions, the relationship can feel unstable. List your top 3 values like honesty, family, career, faith, stability, adventure, and share them with the other person. You don't have to match perfectly, but you do need to respect each other's values and be clear on where they differ. Now let me share another story, this one about some business partners. I worked with a client who owned a small but growing company. He brought in a business partner and assumed they were on the same page about the company's future. Turns out, they weren't even reading the same book. One wanted aggressive national expansion. The other valued stability and keeping things small and local. Every decision, from marketing budgets to hiring, turned into a tug-of-war. The problem wasn't lack of talent or respect. It was a lack of a future vision conversation. Once they sat down and discussed their long-term vision, non-negotiables, and definitions of success, they realized they could create a hybrid plan, growing but at a pace they both felt comfortable with. That clarity not only saved the partnership, it saved the business. Technique 3, the future vision conversation. This conversation is about alignment over the long term. Ask questions like, where do you see us in 5 years? What does success look like to you? What's non-negotiable for you? You may discover you're headed in the same direction, or that you need to adjust the path to make sure you get there together. Technique 4, conflict style exploration. We all have a conflict style. Some of us want to resolve things immediately. Others need to step back, think, and process. If you don't understand each other's conflict style, arguments can spiral. One person feels chased, the other feels ignored. Talk about this before the next disagreement. Ask each other, when we have a conflict, what helps you feel safe and heard? That one question can change the tone of every disagreement you'll ever have. Technique 5, emotional needs mapping. Emotional needs are like fuel for the relationship. If you're running on empty, frustration sets in fast. Your needs might be verbal encouragement, quality time, consistency, or even just space to recharge. Knowing your own needs and understanding theirs means you can meet them in ways that actually matter. It's not just love languages. It's about recognizing the specific things that help each of you feel secure and valued. Technique 6, assumption busting. Assumptions are one of the fastest ways to create unnecessary conflict. Instead of thinking, they didn't call because they don't care, ask, hey, I noticed you didn't call today. Everything okay? When you swap assumptions for curiosity, you stop creating false stories in your head and start inviting honest conversations. Technique 7, the feedback loop. I love this for both personal and professional relationships. Regular check-ins. It could be weekly, monthly, or quarterly, and just ask 2 simple questions. What's working well for us right now? And what's one thing we could do to improve? When you do this regularly, you don't let little issues pile up into big ones. Technique 8, story and perspective sharing. Your past shapes how you communicate, love, and even fight. Someone who grew up in a loud, expressive home might see raised voices as passion. Someone raised in a quiet, conflict-avoidant home might see them as a danger. When you share the why behind your patterns, you build empathy, and that empathy creates patience and grace in the relationship. Clarity in relationships, both personal or professional, isn't about perfection. It's about choosing to understand and be understood. Your challenge this week, pick one of these techniques, just one, and try it with someone you care about. Maybe it's a spouse, a friend, a coworker, or a business partner. See how it changes the conversation. And if you're ready to go deeper into clarity in your relationships, your business, or your personal growth, I'd love for you to join me in one of my virtual boot camps or mastermind groups. You can learn more at pivotpointme.com. Because when you have clarity in your relationships, you can show up fully in every other area of your life. And it all starts with clarity.